Hello again, viewers. Welcome back. So the last time I made a video, I was talking about basically taking the drum shell, and this was just after applying the water-based stain to it to obviously get the green color. And of course, I think this is actually just after I applied the black fade, which came out very, very nicely. And actually sitting on top is a factory drum. This is a 14-inch tom. Again, trying to make a 16-inch floor tom here to accommodate the set. Anyway, so yeah, this was after the stain, and I was doing some tests with the shellac, and I ran some tests with using my sample board here, which is basically a piece of maple I got at the big orange store, and it's pretty much the same species of maple as what the shell is made from, and all the other shells actually. So anyway, so I brushed on shellac on my test piece, and it came out well. So I was thinking, well, why don't I go ahead and brush some onto my shell rather than trying to spray it? Well, that was actually a bad idea, because let's see if you can see it through the camera. Yeah, here it is. The color, the lighting kind of throws the color off a little bit. As you can see, it's a little bit lighter in the camera, but right in, where's that? See, that is not from trying to apply from trying to brush on the shellac. This right there, let's see if I can zoom in on it. There's a little bit of a run right there where, oh, come on, zoom in, or focus. It's right about there. Is where the color started to run just a little bit from me basically just the shellac wetting the stain again and causing it to reactivate. So I'm glad it only happened in this one little area right here. It's barely noticeable. So basically I stopped where I was, didn't want to ruin anything, and I decided, well, I guess I need to go ahead and set up for spraying the shellac. Oh, and by the way, so the shellac that I'm using is this stuff right here. This is made by Zinsser, which Zinsser is actually owned by Rust-Oleum. You can find this at your local Ace Hardware, probably Home Depot, maybe Lowe's as well. Oop, uh-oh, I just named off the stores, whoops. Anyway, this is called Zinsser SealCoat, but it is, if you look right there, it is 100% wax-free shellac. The trick is, I was trying to find all sorts of videos on how to basically spray shellac. In other words, do I need to thin this out with my sprayer? And by the way, if you remember some of the last videos, this is the sprayer that I'm using. This is from Harbor Freight. That's the purple sprayer that comes with the regulator already attached, so you don't have to buy the two separately, but it's this sprayer right here, the HVLP gravity feed. There's your item number. There's probably other item numbers that may go by, but it's a Harbor Freight sprayer. It has got a it's a 1.4 millimeter tip on it, and from what I've read, these tips are not exactly supposed to be interchangeable, but I mean, for $27 you can't go too wrong. And I used this sprayer for actually applying the stain, the initial green water-based stain onto the shell, and also the black fade stain. And the stain that I was using, and as I mentioned in the previous videos, is the Transfast, the dark green, and the Transfast ebony. And in the prior videos I mentioned how I mixed it up and basically come up with pretty much an exact same color match to the factory PDP series, or Pacific Drums Products MX series green fade black shell. So anyway, so back to spraying shellac. Like I said, I couldn't find very many videos on spraying shellac. So I decided to kind of give an update as far as what I did. And again, I was trying to figure out if I needed to thin this out, and basically this stuff, it's pretty thin. The way that they cut it at the factory, cutting as in like they take the shellac granules and they mix it in with denatured alcohol. That's basically called cutting, and there's other videos out there that kind of explains the whole process, way above my knowledge base. Anyway, so I just poured it directly into my sprayer and shot a few tests with some pieces of cardboard. Had the right settings on as far as the needle adjustment on my sprayer, and then of course the airflow adjustment. Came out very, very nicely. So this is actually the result is actually, this is after what the shell looks like after two applications, or two spray applications of the wax-free shellac. And so basically I sprayed it one day and I let it dry, and then which, I mean, if you know anything about shellac actually will dry very, very quickly. But basically I waited a good several hours before I actually went back and sanded the shellac. In other words, I did like a very, just a light sanding of the shellac. I mean, I'm talking barely any pressure whatsoever, and I used 500 grit sandpaper. So all it really needed to do was just to scuff up the shellac to give it a little bit of a gritty surface for the next layer to adhere to. So that's what I did. I sprayed it one day, came back later that night, and sanded it with 500 grit sandpaper very, very lightly, just a very light sanding all across the shell. Wiped off all the sanding dust, then came back the next day and sprayed my second coat of shellac, and this is the result of that. Again, it came out very, very nice. I believe it's pretty much an exact match to the PDP MX series factory shell. So I'm very, very pleased. So the next step here is going to be to go ahead and protect, I guess you can call it protecting the shellac, basically putting a top coat finish over the shellac. I guess you can kind of think of it as sealing in place, or sealing the shellac in place, if I'm thinking about this right and from what I've read. So anyway, so that's what we're about to do, and I'll come back with an update video after that takes place. See you until next time.